Good evening, Southwest Arkansas. Just a quick little evening weather blog for the Sunday evening as we don't have a whole lot to talk about in this week's forecast. Finally, some dry conditions look like a good possibility throughout most of this week. As you can see above me, mostly sunny skies. The sunny skies look likely through this week. 0% chance of rain most of the days of this week. We'll watch the end of the week closely if we have any rain chances there, but for the most part, right now, looks to be dry. Going to be a little bit on the warmer side as we start off this week with highs in the 50s and in the 60s through the second half of this week before we cool down towards the weekend. Overnight low is going to be in the 30s, 20s, and into the 30s as we go into the middle of the week and back down to the 20s near the end of the week as we have another cold shot of air being a possibility, and we'll talk more about that. Let's jump into that real quick, taking a look at some model data real quickly here. This is the GEFS, the GFS or Global Ensemble Forecasting System, one of our models that we use. And this, remember, ensembles pretty much help us get a general idea on what could be the possibility for the long-term future, not necessarily the specifics, but the long-term, like you're talking end of the week, like really 7 to 8, 10 days and further out in advance. You can kind of look at this because an ensemble takes one model run and it'll tweak it and it'll tweak the starting out phases of that model run and or produce a bunch of runs, and then it averages out to what you see here. So it just helps us kind of go over the different scenario stuff of that nature. What you're seeing here, read this up at top. This is this is pretty much surface temperature anomalies. So this does not mean that it's going to be 24 degrees below zero. What this means is anomaly is around average for this time of year. So with that being around average, just remember that's a little cooler here in Arkansas for this time of year, but still, I just have to guess and say in the 50s, but I could be wrong on that. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Either way, let's talk about while we're talking about this colder air. If you've seen our Facebook post earlier in the day today, you've seen us mention that we have a chance some cooler air maybe towards the end of the week. Let's talk about that. So as you can see here, we're going to have this pretty much just kind of stay near average throughout the first half of this week, and potentially some near above average conditions. Look what's coming out of Canada. We have another big shot of cold air that could be a possibility into this weekend and beginning of next week. I will say most of the colder air, some more of the stronger colder air, is off over more of the eastern portion of the country. We just get clipped by that, but it's still showing some below average temperatures being a possibility. So some cooler conditions could be possible this weekend into next week, and that kind of tries to stick around some, but we'll see how long that sticks around. Like we said but earlier, think it's going to mainly be a dry period. Not expecting anything in terms of any rainfall or anything of that nature. This is our PWAT anomalies, and it kind of pretty much backs up that shot of dry or cold air and that dry cold air into the region. We'll have to look at temperatures on this. Don't necessarily take these numbers as face value, but the general idea, that colder shot of air, as you can see there, coming down south. Most of it probably, well, here it comes. Most of it probably, and you notice the euro is just a little more held back on that. But let's also jump up here to the Climate Prediction Center outlooks. It shows a very similar scenario. You can see down here, this shows the possibilities of being below average and above average in the red. Well, you can see over the northeastern portions of the country, they're predicted to be below average. Pretty good chance for the next 6 to 10 days from Saturday, 12th, 13th to Wednesday of the 17th of December. So just an idea on that. That shows you some below average temperatures even look like a possibility further south for us as well. 8 to 14 days may try to warm back up or near normal for this time of year. Precipitation wise, you can see this shows below average rainfall chances, and that shows you pretty good that, hey, there's going to probably be some drier conditions through the next couple of weeks, possibly, or it looks like a good possibility. Could you get a day of rain in there? Maybe so, but for the most part, though, dry conditions look likely through the first half of through this week, and some cooler conditions could be possible by the end of next week. We're not going to get down into specifics yet on how cold because we got a lot of details we have to iron out as always with that sort of stuff. So that's going to bring us to the end of today's evening weather blog. Just a quick, short evening weather blog. Not a whole lot to talk about. When you don't got a whole lot to talk about, these are pretty. These are a little more on the short side. So big thanks as always to all of our sponsors: Patterson's Credit Union, Southern Dumpster Rental, Landmark Insurance Agency, Palmer's Roofing, and J&S Auto Supply, bumper to bumper. Big thanks to all of them for helping us get this information to you guys. As always, have a great rest of your Sunday. And make sure to check us out over on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube, and TikTok. And have a great rest of your week. And thank you guys very much for trusting us right here with your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather.